Hello, dear friends. I welcome you all to today's session. Dear children, today we are going to start a new grammar topic. And what is that? It is adjectives. Children, adjectives are the most beautiful and expressive part of English grammar. Do you want to know how? Alright. Adjectives are basically those words that describe any noun or a pronoun. For example, they tell you what kind of a noun or pronoun is that. Like happy dog. So, what kind of dog? Happy. Tired boy. How is the boy? Tired. Then adjectives tell you about which one. Do you want a green pencil, a blue pencil, a yellow pencil? Similarly, adjectives tell you about how many means number of anything like 7 girls. Okay, let us see which category of adjective do we need to learn today. So, dear children, today we are going to learn about adjectives of number. Now, number means 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 500, right? First, second, third. They are also kind of number. So, today we are going to learn whole about adjectives of number. Are you ready? Let us see what do we mean by adjective of number first. Dear children, since it is an adjective, that means the word is used with a noun or a pronoun to describe or point out the number of a person, place or a thing. Okay? So any word which will tell us about the number of any persons or place or thing, that word we will say that it is an adjective of number. Because the main thing is they are describing words. So they actually add information about our noun or pronoun and tell us the number of them. Right? They are used to show number of things. You can see on your screen there are 2 horses. Horses is a noun. So the word 2 tell us about the number of horses. Right? So the word 2 is our adjective of number. In the same way, 10 fingers. How many fingers are there? They are 10. So the word fingers is a noun and the word 10 tells us about how many fingers or how many of this noun. So 10 word is a adjective of number. Okay? In the same way, 10 candles. You can see a cake. So lovely, right? And there are 10 candles. So how many candles are there? Which word tells us the number of candles? Yes, the word 10. So the word 10 is our adjective of number. Okay? So you should always remember that adjective of number answers a question how many of something. Let us see some examples. I met her several times. Now, how many times, dear children? Several. Several means many. Here it is not a fixed number, but it tells us about the number of times, means many times. So the word several is an adjective of number. See the second example. We have two hands. So how many hands do we have? The answer is two. So 2 is the adjective of number since it tells us about the noun hands. Okay. Whenever we have an adjective, that means there has to be a noun or pronoun with it. Remember that. Now in the same way, adjectives of number shows how many persons or things or in what order a person or thing stands. Example, a month has 4 weeks. Now in this sentence, dear children, the word weeks is a noun. So if I ask you which word tells you the number of weeks, the answer is 4. So 4 word is the adjective of number. Since it tells us about the number of weeks. So it is giving us more information about our noun weeks. Okay. Similarly, there are some pictures on the wall. Now the noun in this sentence, pictures, there are two nouns actually, pictures, wall. And if I ask you how many pictures, the answer will be some, which does not tell you the exact number, but it gives us an idea that it is more than one. Okay. So the word some is the adjective of number since we can count the pictures. Okay. And it is an adjective because it is telling you more about the noun pictures. Dear children, whenever we find an adjective of a kind, like here we are studying the adjective of number first. Always remember that there has to be a noun or a pronoun in your sentence about which the adjective gives more information. Okay. So now we will learn more about adjective of number through some more examples. An adjective of number is the adjective that denotes the number of order of its noun or pronoun. Now see the underlined words. The first example is a hand has 4 fingers and 1 thumb. Now here dear children, if I ask you how many thumbs, you will say 1. So 1 is the adjective of number. It tells you about the number of noun thumb. In the same way, how many fingers? Yes, it is 4. So the adjective of number is 4. It tells us about the noun fingers, that how many fingers are there. Children, you must be wondering why are we reading again and again the definition and learning so many examples? Yes, because the more we read examples, the more clearer the picture of adjective of number will be to us. Okay. Now next example is a few boys are there in the room. Now how many boys? We can count the boys. So the word a few is the adjective of number because we can count our noun. Okay. Next, there are no books in the almirah. Now again, how many books? No. No means 0. Since you can count your noun books, it is a countable noun. So the word no becomes adjective of number. Okay? When you do not have fixed number and you have the words like a few, no, all, some, in that case you have to see about your noun. If the noun is countable, that means the words used before them will be adjective of number. Okay? Like all birds fly in the sky. So how many birds? All. The word all tells us the number of birds. Right? So it is an adjective of number. Some candles have gone out. How many candles? Some. So dear children, I am again repeating. When we have the number as such before any noun or pronoun, like 1 thumb, 4 fingers, 12 spoons, 10 candles, then the words like 1, 12, 10, they are adjective of number. Okay? Like I am the first student of the class. So the first word is also adjective of number. Alright? I am the last girl in the class. Last word will also be adjective of number. And when we have words like a few, no, all, some, several, many, most, in these cases we have to see that they are used for countable noun or not. If these words are before countable nouns, then they become adjective of number. Okay, remember this point. Now you must be wondering that what if these words are used before uncountable nouns? Then what will happen? Yes, dear children, this we are going to study now. Now, dear children, before we move to our uncountable nouns, let us take some live examples and understand more what we have learnt so far. Now see, there are 3 animals before you, right? You can count them. 1, 2, 3. So if I ask you how many animals are there, you will say, ma'am, there are 3 animals. Alright? Now this word 3 is your adjective of number. Why? Because it tells you about your animals. You can count them. And now if I ask you that which is your last animal, what would you say? That ma'am, this leopard is my last animal. Which is your first animal? First animal. Elephant is your first animal. So these words, dear children, they are also your adjective of number, which you have just studied. Alright? Because they give you more information about your noun and you can count them. Okay. Now, dear children, what do you see before you? There is salt, and the salt is in different quantity in these 3 plates. If I ask you that how much quantity of salt is there in this plate, what would you say? Can you count the salt? We cannot. So we can use the word that there is less salt in this plate. Alright? What about this plate? Yes, this one. We can say that there is some salt in this plate. Okay? We can use the word some. And what about this plate? We can say that there is enough salt in this plate. If we compare the 3 plates, this plate has enough salt. Alright. In the same way, if I take one more example, how much colored water can you see in the cup? Again, there is less water in the cup. If I pour more water in this, then we can say there is some water in the cup. Now when I fill it, what would you say? We can say there is enough water in our cup. So are you counting the water? No, we are not counting it. We cannot count liquids like water, oil, medicine, alright, some liquid medicine, syrups. Similarly, we cannot count rice, sugar, salt, pepper, etc. We have to measure them. Okay. So when we talk about such uncountable nouns, we are using the words like less, some, enough, little, much, more. And do you want to know what do we call these adjectives? Yes, dear children. So what is that? That is adjectives of quantity. So dear children, till now we have learned adjectives of number, and that were those adjectives which tell you about how many of any noun or a pronoun is there. Okay. I have shared that when you use the words like all, few, some, many, several with countable nouns, then they are called adjectives of number. Now in this part we are going to see that what if we have uncountable nouns with us. Now before that, let us have a recap of what is an adjective. An adjective describes a noun like taste, sweet, color, orange, smells, yummy, looks, pretty, size, tall, feels, soft, sounds, quiet, behavior, funny. These are all adjectives of quality. That also we have done in previous session. Then how many? 2. This is adjective of number. This is also we have done. So the third category which we are doing, it is adjective of quantity. Now let us understand what is the definition of it. Dear children, a word with a noun to describe or point out the quantity of a thing. Okay. Remember, adjective of number tells you the number of a thing. Here adjective of quantity means that word which tells you the quantity of any noun. Now let us see how. An adjective that tells how much of a thing we are referring to. Quantity means how much. Number was how many. Okay. So these two things look very similar, but they are very different from each other. And that's why we are taking them together in this session. Right? So number was how many. You can anytime refer back to the previous slides, dear children. And quantity means how much. Like example, Ahmad ate the whole chapati. Now here, dear children, we are not counting. We are saying it is just one chapati. And how much portion of it Ahmad ate? Ahmad ate whole. So the word whole here tell us how much of the chapati has Ahmad eaten. So that is the difference. Okay? Dear children, see the example. Ahmad ate the whole chapati. So we are not counting any chapati. It is one only because it is singular. That is obvious. But how much of it is being eaten? The word whole tells us that. Okay? And that's why it is an adjective of quantity. I drank all the milk in the cup. So how much of the milk? All. So remember, all word was also an adjective of number. We have shared one example with you. Yes, all the boys are present because you can count the boys. So all word there was adjective of number. But here we cannot count the milk. Okay. it tells us the quantity. So here the word all is adjective of quantity. And that is, I was saying that when we use it with uncountable nouns, they become adjective of quantity. Dear children, let us see some more examples to make this concept more clear. Adjectives of quantity show how much a thing is meant. Like I ate some rice. So how much rice? Some. Rice is the noun. And some word tells us how much of that noun. So it is an adjective of quantity. Okay? He has little intelligence. So how much intelligence? Little. So intelligence word is abstract noun and little word is adjective of quantity because it tells you about your noun, intelligence. Dear children, always remember when there is any adjective, there has to be some noun in your sentence. Okay? He showed much patience. Now again, patience is an abstract noun. We cannot count it. The word much tells us about this word patience. So how much patience? Much. Therefore, the word much is an adjective of quantity. He has lost all his wealth. Now how much wealth? All. So remember, excuse me, adjective of quantity answer the question how much. Okay? Let us see some more examples. I bought some tea. Tea is the noun. And how much of that tea? Some. He is a little proud of his position. So here, how much proud? Proud is also an adjective and it tells you more about it. So the little word is adjective of quantity. The whole story is false. The word story is a noun. The word whole tells us how much of the story. So it is an adjective of quantity. Much wisdom is needed for this job. Wisdom is a noun. And how much wisdom? The word much tells us adjective of quantity. At my words, he lost all patience. Patience is a noun. The word all is adjective of quantity. You have no right to speak. Right is a noun. The word no here is adjective of quantity. So dear children, it's very simple. You have to see your noun and then see which words tell you about the quantity of that noun. Means how much. Because you cannot count tea. You cannot count wisdom, patience, right? So that's why they are telling us about how much of that is there. Okay. So they are adjectives of quantity. Let us have some more examples to make it clear. Now dear children, these are very commonly resembling words that look the same, but they have a bit difference between them. What is that? There is much water in the jug. So here much means enough. When you say there is little water in the jug, it means almost nothing. When we say there is a little water in the jug, it means at least some is there. When you say there is no water in the jug, it means zero quantity. There is some water in the jug, it means neither much nor less. Okay. There is sufficient water in the jug, means whatever is required that is there. There is enough water in the jug means more than sufficient. Okay. I have purposely taken these examples because they are all telling you about quantity of noun water. Water is the noun in all the sentences. And all these words tell you about different quantity. Much, little, a little, no, some, sufficient, enough. These all words are adjectives of quantity. Okay? Now these are very good pictorial representations to understand more about adjective of quantity. How much rice is there in the dish? Now we can see in one picture there is much rice in the dish. We cannot count the rice. It is an uncountable noun. But we can see it is more than the second picture. So first picture we are using the word much, which is our adjective of quantity. In the second, there is a little rice in the dish. A little means positive, that something is there. Okay? So the word a little also is an adjective of quantity. Alright? How much water is there in the jug? You can again see there is much water in the jug. In the first picture we can see the water is really too much. Right? It's enough. So the word much is adjective of quantity. But in the second picture we can see that water is very less. So there is little water in the jug. Little means negative meaning. Means which is less. You can see in the earlier slide, a little word means positive. Means okay, something is there. Whereas little means negative. Not much. Okay? So the word much, the word little, they are adjectives of quantity. A glass is half filled of water. Now again, dear children, how much water is there in the glass? Half. So the word half is your adjective of quantity because it tells us about the noun water, which is an uncountable noun. Alright? So I'm sure the adjectives of quantity as well as the adjective of number is completely clear to you. Dear children, you should remember that when you have specific numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, first, second, third, fourth, these words are all adjectives of number because they tell you about how many of a noun. Okay. But when we use the words like all, some, few, then we have to see if they are used for countable nouns, they become adjective of number. But if they are used for uncountable nouns, like there is little water, okay, there is much sugar, alright, there is a little rice, the whole chapati, the half chapati, then these words become adjectives of quantity. Please go through this video again as these two topics look quite similar but they have much difference. Alright, with this we come to the closure of this session and I'm sure adjectives of quantity and number are clear to you. So goodbye for now. Happy learning. See you in the next session.